Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for having me today for our iPros TV session where we get a chance to show everyone what we've been working on here in the marketing department at iPros. We're really excited to share a project that was born last year, and we worked with the vendor recently to stand it up. We'll be launching here in the next few weeks our agent online store. This is something that we talked to a lot of you about last week when we had a chance to launch the Medicare Agent Development Program. So the Agent Online Store is going to be something really cool that agents will have access to 24/7, and it's really going to help you get tools and resources that you need faster, more efficiently, and in a way that gives you the ability to customize certain aspects of it. For those of you who have not met me in person or have only met me through email or phone, my name is Alex Gallegos. I work here in the marketing department with iPros, and I will be walking us through today's demo and training of the Agent Online Store. So with that being said, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you a small training deck that I prepared in advance of today's meeting, and then afterwards we're actually going to be doing a live demo of the Agent Online Store. And at the conclusion, I'll be walking everybody through next steps in terms of how you get your account set up on our Agent Online Store, how we will be helping you do that. And then I will also let you know about I'll be able to answer any questions you might have regarding the Agent Online Store. So with that being said, I'm going to share my screen here and we'll get started. All right, I've got a presentation up. I'll make sure I get it into full screen mode so you can see it better. And here we go. So just really briefly, I know I've described it a little bit, but just so we're all on the same page, some of you might ask, what is the Agent Online Store? And really what the Agent Online Store is exactly what it sounds like. It's an online on-demand platform that you can access 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it will give you access to a repository that we've created of marketing materials. We really want to expand the online store in the future to add additional resources that agents will have access to. In our first phase, what we've been able to do is add business cards, agent flyers, Medicare flyers, and general event flyers. Here you can access these materials in a very easy process. You can customize them and then submit them as an order, where then the iPros marketing team will approve your order, and then that order will then be delivered to you. You'll receive tracking, etc. So a nice change in terms of our process management in the past, one that we feel is better for you and better for us as well. In terms of how you set up your account, right? That's the $1 million question right now. I'm sure a lot of you want to get started already, as we want you to get started as well. These are the steps that are going to happen once we release credentials and login information to agents who are going to have access to the online store. The first thing that will happen is you will receive your temporary credentials. We will send an email to the email that we have on file for you, giving you two things: the email that is associated with the login for the account and a temporary password. Okay, so that's something you'll be receiving here within the next week, so that way you can set up your account. The one thing that we urge you to do once you log into your account for the first time is change your password. I think that's pretty standard when you're setting up a new account. I'll be able to show you where you do that. It's very easy to do because the online store is set up in a way that's very easy to understand and follow. The third thing you do, obviously, once you've set up your credential, you've changed your temporary password, is you're going to want to log in. And I will walk you through that. The URL is actually displayed down below at bullet number 3, but I will be able to show you what the site looks like once we do the live demo. And then obviously what you're going to want to do is, depending on what your needs are, whether you need new business cards or maybe you need to refresh your agent flyer, or maybe you have a special event coming up where you want to use one of the Medicare flyers that we've placed in the repository, you're going to want to submit your first order. So we can definitely help you with that should you need to do that in the near future. What I'll be doing next is going through about 4 or 5 slides of screenshots of what the store looks like. The only reason I'm doing that is I want to be able to set up for all of you how the site is structured, where to find certain things, where to input information. And ultimately, this is a leave behind document. So we'll be distributing this document as well. So you'll be able to access it should you have questions, should you get stuck. And we will also release the video as well. So we're hoping that with the video, with the document, with additional support that the marketing team will provide, you'll be able to have the resources should you have questions along the way. So the first thing that I want to call out in the online store is that the catalog of items in the repository is listed on the left-hand side. It comes in the form of a drop-down menu. You can see that I've highlighted it in the red circle. And really what we've tried to do is structure the catalog in a way that doesn't make you have to look too much. And so it's broken down into 4 buckets of marketing materials. The first being business cards. Obviously, we know that's something that you all need when you're in the field, when you're visiting prospects, when you're visiting providers, when you're getting referrals, etc. So we've broken that down in a phase 1 for 3 states: Arizona, California, and Colorado. If you are outside of those states, don't worry. We are more than happy to help you. We'll follow the traditional process which we have in the past for request forms. And as we expand the store, we'll be adding additional states. So please understand the way you see the store now and the items in the repository now, they will expand to meet all the needs of all of our nation agents across the United States. The next bucket of items that we have is our general flyers. These are the flyers that many of you request as you onboard or as you're looking to refresh your supply. They feature your photo, your contact information, and they will typically highlight the types of products which you are licensed to sell and the state in which you are licensed to sell. There are some nuances. Many of you know this because of the fact that some of the exchanges across different states in the federally facilitated market, and the federally facilitated marketplace do require that some of these materials be customized slightly. For that reason, we've launched with Arizona, which is a FFM state, California, which is a covered California state for IFP, and Colorado, which is has an individual exchange as well, which is Connect for Health. So those can all be found in our repository present day. Then we've got a really nice assortment of Medicare flyers that we've prepared for you. I believe we have 4 versions of Medicare flyers. We've got a birthday flyer. We have a Medi flyer. We've got a general Medicare flyer. We've got a Medicare Come and Learn flyer. So these are available to you as well in the repository. And then the last thing that I'll call out is that all of the materials in our first phase are available in English and Spanish, and they are available in a double-sided version or a single-sided version, depending on what your needs are. So this is really where you start, right? You come in here, you find what you need, whether it's a business card, a flyer, and then you sort through the listing that's underneath each area, and you find what you need. Now you want to get into the process of ordering a material, right? This is actually a really simple process, mainly because all the materials, we've worked with the vendor to identify the areas that are variable, the areas where you're going to need to input information. And then there's a process for you to actually do a live preview of your material. Once you're happy with it, make sure that everything's spelled correctly, your license number is correct, your photo is cropped just right, then you can submit your order. So it's a really cool process. I will show it to you, and it happens in a matter of seconds. Once you've previewed your material, you've determined your quantity, which is something that I'll walk you all through in a second, then you've got to go through basically 3 screens to be able to submit your order. I've highlighted them here, but I will show them to you, which I think will be easier for you to see once we log in. And they're really simple steps. The first step is making sure that you give us your address and contact information for shipping, right? Some of you might have a different address listed with the contracting team here, so you might want to list a separate shipping address, which you can do in one screen. And don't worry, you can have multiple addresses. And the address you can save into your account. That way you don't have to be consistently putting it back in. The second part is putting your contact information in, confirming that all of the information you've listed in your material is correct. And then the third part is submitting your order. There's an additional box once you go to submit your order where you can add additional notes. Say you need to expedite shipping, or you have a question, or you just want to make a special call out, you can do it there. We'll review it when we receive the order and we'll acknowledge it. So really simple steps, right? It's it's selecting your item, entering your information, and then going through this 3 steps required to actually submit an order. And then really what many of you want to know is, I placed an order, so what happens now? And I think it's important for you all to understand the steps in that process, just so that way you can know when to expect your materials or what's going to be communicated to you. It's very simple. Once you've gone through the steps that I highlighted earlier in terms of customizing your material, submitting it for approval, the marketing team will then review it. That typically will take us between 2 and 3 business days at max. If there are any questions we have about your material, if there's anything that we need to discuss with you, we will let you know. For the most part, however, we're going to follow the parameters that we've established in the Medicare Agent Development Program in terms of your allotment of orders for flyers, your allotment of orders for business cards, etc. And that will typically be how we try to manage requests. If there's any reconciliation that needs to happen, for example, if your order is above and beyond your annual allotment, typically we'll involve the sales team, the business development team, and we'll figure out what that looks like for you specifically. This does happen. We do have agents that are very, very active, and they come in and they request certain materials, so we usually find a way to work that out for them. Once your order's been approved, I'm sorry, I'll take one step back. When you do submit your order, you will get a confirmation. You will get an order number. You'll have that via email, right? And we will let you know that your order is being reviewed. Once your order is approved, after it's been reviewed, you will get another confirmation email letting you know that your order has been approved. It's very important that we let you know where you're at in the process. After your order has been produced by our print vendor, we will generate a tracking number for you. The time that takes typically will vary. I typically try to advise agents that the production time frame and the time to get an order shipped will typically be between 5 and 7 business days. Once your order is shipped, like I mentioned earlier, you receive another email with your tracking. I think this is really cool. This is something that we haven't done in the past, but be it that we've automated our process, something that we can do now. So you'll know exactly where your order is. You'll be able to track it like you track most packages nowadays. And if you have any questions along the way, you can always reach out to us and we can help facilitate any answers that you need answered. And then you get to enjoy your marketing material, right? So this is, like I mentioned, an enhancement for us, an enhancement for our agents, we hope. And I'm also listing the marketing email that you can reference. Should you get stuck along the way, should you have any questions, should you have any ideas about how to make the process better, we're always happy to hear from our agents, and I've listed that email there, and you can always use that email. So I'm actually going to hop out of the presentation now, and I'm going to jump into the actual website, and you can see what the website looks like, and you can see the process for ordering a material, and I'm going to walk you through one example of that. So I'm going to log in here. Oh, I need to share my screen. Sorry, right? because I logged out of the presentation. Here we go. And make sure if you have any questions along the way, you save them. We'll make sure we get all of them answered at the conclusion when we get into the Q&A portion. Sorry. Here we go. So I've logged in. Really simple homepage. Obviously, you'll receive that URL. So you have that available. I know in a future state, we'll be featuring all this information in a resource page in our future CRM, iPros Connect. So from here, you really are going to go to one place in terms of being able to facilitate your materials shop, right? This is where you're able to go in. Like I mentioned earlier, we've set up the catalog on the left-hand side. You can drop it down. It will show you the different types of materials that you have access to. So Arizona business cards, California business cards, Colorado business cards. And then really where we have a lot of materials cataloged and available to you is in the flyers, right? So you've got your general flyers, which many of you guys use every day. Then you've got Medicare specific flyers. And then we have for California agents, some general event flyers that we've developed. And again, I'll say it again, we're going to keep adding here. So I know I get a lot of requests, week in and week out, month in and month out about ideas about materials. As we see materials that make sense for our agents, we'll add them. And when I say that, I'd love to hear ideas from you about some of those materials, whether it's language, style, any competitive research, etc. So let me show you what it looks like, right? So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I'm an agent, right? I'm in California. I want to produce my general flyer. So I'm going to select that. Right away, it'll show me the 6 options I have for the single-sided versions, because that's what I clicked on. And I'm just going to do that right now just to keep it simple. And I'm going to say, okay, I'm an agent who's contracted for Medicare, and I'm an agent who is wanting to do it in English. So this is the flyer that I would select. I click on the thumbnail, right? And here, I just enter my information. And this is just dummy information just so I can show you how the system works. Obviously, as you go in and customize your material, you're going to want to make sure that the information that you want to appear, you're inputting in there, your license number, your phone number, your email. And then I'm cheating a little bit because I have been in the system before. I do have a photo that I can access. Sorry, I'm trying to look at the browser. Oh, sorry, I've got to click here. I click here. You can see I have a photo here. I also have a photo of David Lee in there. You can see that, well, actually, let me show you this. I'm going to show you what happens when you upload a raw photo, which is a photo that hasn't been edited, that hasn't been resized. So here this is just a photo I took in the office. And then right away, the system tells me, hey, your photo's not cropped to the dimensions.
We can't see that.
Oh, are we not seeing?
You can see where it says the preview button.
Maybe it froze. Here, let me just share my screen again. How's that?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it just froze.
So maybe go back to.
Yep, I'll do it. I'll just repeat the process. So let me just close this. Sorry, it's just that I've got all the Zoom pop-ups. Let me try it again. Here we go. All right, so we're back where I think I lost you guys. This was the screen where I entered my name, my license number, my phone number, my email. Now for me to upload my photo for the area of the flyer that features my photo, I simply click on the upload image. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to select an image here that's uncropped, meaning it's just a photo I took with my camera and I uploaded it, right? And the reason this is important is because the system recognizes when your photo does not meet the required dimensions, and it helps you crop them. So it's actually very intuitive. So here I've selected this image, and
So
then
that's where when you click that, it's not showing the other window. But maybe you can go back to where you have the pictures, because that would be the next step.
yeah, let me see. Maybe it's because it pops up a new. Here, I have an idea why it's doing it. I believe it's doing it because I'm sharing the browser and maybe not the screen.
Not the screen.
So let's see. Let's try that. So I'm going to start over. Tell me if you see everything, Rodrigo, please. So this is where I input my information. Apologies, everybody, but I definitely want to make sure everyone sees this the way they're supposed to see it. And keep in mind, this video will be available on demand. We're going to upload it to our YouTube channel. We'll make sure we post it on the website. We'll make sure we email it out afterwards. So it'll be a good resource for you to go in and access and watch as many times as you need to. Or again, you can always reach out to us at the marketing email that I showed earlier. So I'm going to click on choose image. Hopefully we keep it on the screen. All right, perfect. All right. So I've already taken a photo and uploaded it. To do that process, you would simply click on the click new image, but I've already got a photo in the system. I'm going to select the photo that's uncropped because I want to show you how the system will crop it for you, right? So here it tells me, hey, your image isn't cropped. So let's help you crop it. And that's actually really easy to do. I select I select crop image. And then this square allows me to drag, but it makes sure that the way I drag it meets the dimensions of the creative. There's certain dimensions of that flyer that need to remain, otherwise it ends up looking funny. So that's what it's helping me do. And I save crop image. I say yes. And then I select the image. Oops, sorry. I had to let the process play out. All right. And then that photo is saved. So now I've already given it my name, phone number, license number. I've uploaded my image. This is the fun part. I press preview, and then there on the right hand side, you'll see it. It gives me a real-time preview of my material. Very cool in my opinion. If I like it, I say great. Okay. So here's another piece that might be a little complicated, but I want to explain it. One of the things that we had to do, just given the experience we have in ordering materials, is we had to develop a quantity that we would use as a base. And the reason why I bring that up is because sometimes you come to us and you only need a couple hundred flyers, right? You don't need 1,000. So what we've done is we've established a minimum quantity on orders, which is 250. So that means that if you need 1,000 flyers, when you order, you have to order in multiples of 250. So in this case, what I'm going to say is, hey, I need 1,000 flyers, right? I just ran out. I'm going to be really busy during the summer. So my quantity, if I need 1,000, is 4 because it's in multiples of 250. So I'm going to say I need 4 here. I'm going to add it to my cart and I'm done. Okay. I'm done in terms of the customization portion. So the next step here, right? If I'm ready to check out, if I'm done, if I don't need business cards or if I don't need anything else right now, is I'm going to go over to these two tabs here on the right, the shipping info and view cart. Okay. You can see already that the system has said, hey, you have one item in your shopping cart. Okay. So I know that I've got that item waiting for me. The next step I'm going to want to do is I want to confirm my shipping info. I've already done this, right? Because I've been in the system earlier preparing for the training. So I've already given it my address. It's all listed there. So this is all good and dandy. I don't need to press submit or save. It automatically does it for me. Now I'm going to go back to my cart, just clicking on that tab. All my information there is correct. I've got the material that I want. I've got quantity of 4 because I want 1,000. I've got all my variable information that I've uploaded. So I'm ready. You can see that when I clicked my cart and I like all the information, that new tab is displaying now that says checkout. So on checkout, I click that because I'm ready to order. And this information here automatically populates. It's system information. You don't have to change any of this information. Here in order remarks, you do have the option to make some edits or add some content here. Really what you want to do here is save this for any special instructions. If, for example, you're going to be out of town and you need for it not to be delivered until after a certain date, or if you're going to be going to an event and you want to know if we can try to expedite shipping for you. If you give us a request, we'll work with a production vendor. We'll see what we can do and we will let you know, right? So this is where you would insert those special remarks. And then you're done. You submit the order, and this order's been submitted. I will receive a copy of all this information via email. And then, like I mentioned earlier, once my order's been approved by the marketing team, I'll receive another notice. And then once my order has been produced, I will receive another notice that it's being shipped to me, and I'll receive that tracking. The only thing that I want to go back to while I've got everyone on this screen is the My Account section. Here on the top right, you can see there's a little hyperlink that says My Account. This is where, once you log in for the first time, you are going to be able to change your temporary password. So we will provide to you a temporary password. Your login will be your email that we have on file for you. So if you need to change that, obviously you can reach out to us now. We will provide to you the email that we have on file. We'll say, hey, this is the email you're going to have for as your credentials. Here's your temporary password. You're going to enter that temporary password here, right? And then down here below, you can enter a new password and save it. So I would highly recommend that to you. Obviously, it's better when you use passwords that you've assigned yourself to different accounts and logins and platforms. And so with that being said, I'm going to stop the demo portion and I'm going to take any questions, and I'm happy to jump back into the platform if anybody has any questions along the way. Rodrigo?
There's currently no questions at the moment, but if anybody has any questions, please use the Q&A box or the chat box at the bottom of your screen and send us the questions.
What I'll do, I'll just open up the display here so some of you all can see the different materials that we've cataloged here. And if anybody needs me to go into any of them individually, I'm happy to do so.
So we have a question from Pilar. She's saying, can we add our picture to the business cards?
That's a great question, and I knew someone was going to ask it. We're actually working on a version of the business cards that does give agents the ability to add their photo. It's been actually one of the most requested things in the last 6 months, and we've gotten approval to go ahead and create another version. So I'm currently working on that with the vendor. I'll be able to probably get that done here in the next few weeks. And then it will take the vendor usually a couple of weeks to get it into the system. We have to test it, etc. But I would anticipate here that we'll have that into the system soon. So you would see that under business cards and then under the individual state, and you would basically see an alternative version of the business card that would give you the ability to upload your photo. So choose your photos wisely is what I would say.
We have another question from David. We told David not to ask the hard questions beforehand, so let's see. He's asking, is it better to use a desktop or laptop rather than a phone to place an order?
I would definitely recommend you use a laptop or a desktop computer. I mean, you can use your phone. I've been on the system with my phone. It is, semi-mobile friendly. But as you can see here, as you minimize your browser, make your browser bigger, some of these drop downs and stuff, they get smaller and harder to see. So, why make life hard on yourself, right? I would definitely recommend using a PC or a Mac if you use a Mac.
Yeah, and also sometimes the iPhones, whenever you're trying to choose a picture, may not be the most user-friendly, or Androids.
Yeah, I agree.
So definitely the computer is easier to use. Does anybody have any other questions? Actually, I have a question.
Sure.
So whenever they have a request for a new flyer, or if they have an event, how do they submit that to iPros, to the marketing team?
Something that's not in the system.
Yeah.
We're going to use the email for now. So the email that I have listed, that's actually a really good question, because that does happen quite a bit, right? We do have agents that have a different need, right? You might have a special event. You might be working with a provider or a community-based organization. So we do custom stuff, and we're happy to do it. I'm actually in the process of revamping an online request form for that specifically. But we're really hoping is that what we have in the online store covers 95% of what the agents need.
And also because you mentioned for people if they see a competitor's piece, that they would like to replicate, or for us to add to our library, what is the email that they can use?
So I'll pull that up. It's on the PowerPoint. It's a great question, and keep using this email as you surface ideas or you run into stuff. I don't know why it's not letting me click in there. I'll just do it this way. See here, the email that I'm displaying is the marketing team at iprosteam.com. That email will go to my inbox, but it will also catch the inbox of a couple other people in the office, and we will make sure we get back to you there. And also your business development leads. I am in contact with them frequently. I'll intake a lot of requests there. And you can always channel requests through there as well. And like I said, I am in the process of revamping an older online form that we were using through our Monday system. But in a future state, what I want to make sure we do is that we've got the online store, and then for anything that falls in that 5% of stuff that we can't help you with through the online store, we would use an online request form, and we would automate it as well. That way you have an idea of where the project is.
Yep, thank you, Alex. I added the email address that's also on the presentation, marketingteam@iprosteam.com. And we also have a question from Maria. Could you show a business card to see what they look like?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. It's no problem. This mouse is acting funny. Yeah, so these are the current business cards, just so everyone knows. What I'll call out about the business cards is you're going to have 3 options with each of the states. And it's really simple. It's just like the agent flyers. You're going to have an option to call out if you want your business card to be IFP specific, so Connect for Health, Cover California, or an FFM state. You're going to have an option to call it if you want it to be Medicare and IFP, or you're going to have an option to just be a Medicare focused card. And really what the difference is there is the back of the card, because there's a little bit of language on the back of the card. So I'll show you what one card for both products looks like, right? So here, and keep in mind, Pilar, this doesn't have the option for the photo yet. We're working on that for you. When we do, you'll have a second version of the card, should you want to be able to add your photo. So there is the information I've inputted. I'm going to just say, hey, I only need 250 cards. So I'm going to order a quantity of 1. And then I'm going to preview. One thing that I actually learned today is that you cannot add an order to your cart unless you preview it. And I think that's just so that way the system knows you looked at what you inputted and it looks okay to you. If I would have tried to add that order to my cart without hitting the preview button, it wouldn't let me. A little pop-up would come up and say you have to preview the card. So this is the front of the card. I know it's probably not that easy to see because I can't even see it very well on the laptop here. But then the back of the card is what I was calling out, and I'm sorry that the resolution is so poor. The back of the card here basically says that you are licensed to sell covered California, and Medicare plans.
So it goes to page 2 when you click on the magnifying glass.
I clicked on the little 2
On
up here.
2. What happens if you click on the magnifying glass? Maybe that.
Oh, yeah.
That way they can see a little better.
It's not letting me expand it.
It's not expanding.
Yeah. So what I'll do, because I do want to make sure that you're able to see these things correctly, is I will reach out to our vendor to make sure that that's not a bug. Please keep in mind, I didn't say this earlier, it is a new system. So as much as we've done QA on the system, some quality assurance, I'm sure you're going to find small things that you're going to bring to our attention. So please feel free to do that. We'll make sure we get on it. We get that back to the development team. We get those little things fixed. I know though, when I've produced sample business cards, I do have on my desktop back in the office the ability to see it bigger for some reason, just the browser that I'm using or something is different. But that would be the process. So the business cards that many of you guys have are this exact style, right? It's got the iPros logo, the icons, your ability to put in your name, your phone number, your license number, an email, and depending on the state you're in, the corporate address or corresponding address. All right.
Perfect. Thank you, Alex. If anybody has any other questions, please go ahead and submit them. Thank you, Alex, for the presentation.
I'm gonna say one last thing. Please make sure to follow the iPros YouTube channel, because
that's very important.
We're gonna make sure we upload all the sessions we've been recording. I think we just uploaded 2 today. We uploaded the Aflac session that we had with Tony Marino, and we uploaded the Medicare agent development session from last week. And I know we've got a surprise coming up in June for another session that we're going to be announcing shortly. So make sure you follow there. All of the videos we're shooting here in our studio, we'll upload them there. And it's just going to be a good place where you can always go back and access information. And make sure to follow the 3 corporate accounts that we have on social media, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and Instagram. Sorry, that was my shameless marketing plug.
It's okay. That was great. Yes, definitely make sure to follow iPros, stay up to date with all the news. That's it. There's no more questions.
Okay.
So we can wrap it up.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone, for joining. Have a nice day.